Today we have a very special guest joining us today. He's the former Ancient Aliens TV host for Tucson, Arizona, as well as the leading UFO investigator in Phoenix, Arizona. He runs a Facebook Live show called Petroglyphsinthesky. I would call him the king of the petroglyphs and one of the best UFO hunters in the United States.
Jeff Woolwine, the first person to do this.
Please give a nice insertion welcome, Jeff Woolwine.
Hey, how you doing? How is everybody doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Great to see you back here at Petroglyphsinthesky UFO show. How is everybody doing today? Man, has the heat getting just a little bit warmer? Are we about at summertime yet? Oh my God, is it getting hot? Hope you guys are doing great tonight. And wherever you may be tuning in from, thank you so much for tuning in. You know, we got a great show for you tonight. There was somebody anonymously sent me a video of this creature-looking thing that was filmed over Mexico. Man, this thing is gonna blow you away. We're gonna show that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna show some still photographs of that. It's gonna be great. And those of you who have been following me on my Facebook page know I've been filming some UFOs outside my apartment this past week. And I actually filmed 3 of them. We're only going to show 2 of them tonight because we don't have a lot of time. One of them happened actually today, matter of fact, this shapeshifter looking thing. So yeah, we're going to show that. And we're going to talk about petroglyphs. And so, yeah, you know, make sure that you share and you like the video, like this show. Make sure you find me on Facebook, Petroglyphsinthesky, Jeff Woolwine. Find me on YouTube, the Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. And, share the video, tell people about this show. Let's get the ball rolling, and I really appreciate it. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you all for tuning in, subscribing, and sharing. Okay, so let's get to some of the sponsors here. If I'm into paranormal stuff also, and I do some ghost hunts every once in a while. I did the ghost hunts out there at the Birdcage Theater, and we did a ghost hunt lately, just recently, out there in California on the Queen Mary. That was always fun. And so if I ordered some products from the paranormal electronics. So all your paranormal stuff, paraphernalia. Well, I guess it is, right? So all your paranormal stuff, you want to hit up Paranormal Electronics and tell them Jeff sent you. And they're awesome people, and they're going to hook you up right. Want to give a shout out to Cyber Scams of Australia. Give a shout out to Sean. If you can't get to my website on the bottom of that, p9.hosting.rod.com /at petroglyphsinthesky.com /. Oh my God, is that crazy or what? Sean has made it so you can go just to petroglyphsinthesky.net. Okay, and there you can find my website, and you can find out the history of Phoenix, Arizona, and a lot of other goody stuff there. You can find out where to get my book at that talks about the lost history of Phoenix, Arizona, talks about the Hohokam, talks about what really is the Phoenix Lights. Now, a lot of people are misled into believing that it was something else, but the petroglyphs and the history of Phoenix, Arizona tells a different story. So make sure you check out my website, look at the proof, look at the facts, look at the evidence that I've dug up over the last 20 years of Phoenix, Arizona, and what the Phoenix Lights really is. Check out my book, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Needley Worldwide Publishing. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits, True Stories, Myths, Legends, and UFOs over Phoenix, Volume 1. Like I said before, this talks about the Phoenix Lights, talks about, who the Hohokam really are, where the Hohokam went, because the archaeologist wants us to believe, they simply migrated somewhere else. That's bullshit. The petroglyphs and the oral traditions from the Native Americans tell us a different story. The landscapes tells us a different story. The whole scene of Phoenix, Arizona, and this fiery bird coming up out of the ashes of the former civilization tells a completely different story of who the Hohokam were, what the petroglyphs are talking about. To us, UFO sightings. They're prehistoric UFO sightings. That's it in a nutshell. There's no other way of describing this. We are seeing these things in the sky. You and I are seeing these things in the sky. And you know what? The Indians and the Hohokams and the people before us over 1,000 years ago, they saw this stuff too. They didn't have video cameras back then. They had stone boulders. They had stone boulders to record their sightings at in the places where the events took place at. So when you go up on the mountains and you see this rock formation of this petroglyph and this guy looking up at an orb in the sky, well, that's the testimony. That's the photograph there of what happened in that area. So this is one way of understanding how to understand the petroglyphs and things like that. We're going to go into that too also. So okay. So let's talk about these petroglyphs. This is a petroglyph here. It has nothing to do with spirits or UFOs. I just thought it was cool, and just look at the detail. Look at the detail on this. All right, look at that corn. Isn't that cool? Isn't that neat? So if the Indians back then, if the prehistoric people back then had this type of sophistication, and to build in equinox and solstice markers. Look at the stones out there, to match the equinox and the morning sunrise and things like that. And they carved, light and shadows and things like that, and they were able to carve, these beautiful petroglyphs on the mountains out there. They were in the right state of mind. They knew exactly what was going on. All right. And these petroglyphs are meant for our generation. It's telling a story. It's telling a story of where, man came from, where the earth, started at. The Hopis tell us, man, we're in the fourth world, about ready to enter the fifth. And look at the prophecies going on today. Look at the crazy things that are going on today. I mean, clearly the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is clearly running, and we can see it today. So everybody knows, man, we're at the end of the fourth world. That's what all this crazy crap is going on in our world today. This is what this plague is all about, man. This plague that we are dealing with today. All right? It's part of prophecy. Okay, and this is the reason why we are seeing these things in the skies, okay, and so many of them every year, doesn't it? For those of us who've been watching them on a yearly and a daily and yearly basis, I mean, haven't you noticed that more and more are coming? Oh my God, dude! I first realized this in 2005. The first year it was cool. The second year, oh my God, there was more. Third year, here comes more. I mean, we got this like little UFO invasion going on here, and people just need to wake up and realize what the hell is going on, and it's not all spaceships and little gray guys running around. All right. There is a different type of thing here. I've been saying this since 2005. These are living beings in the sky. First time I discovered this in 2005, I was shocked also. This is what the petroglyphs talk about. This is what we are recorded in the skies. And a lot of people, they just fail to understand this because they have been brought up for many, many years on technology. It seems to be the only thing that they can understand nowadays is technology. So they see that light out there and they automatically think it's a spaceship. Well, what if it's something different? Right? The petroglyphs and the oral history and the traditional history of these scrolls that have been written from 3,000 to 7,000 years ago tells us a different story. It tells us what these things are. In no shape, manner, form, way, anything like this says anything about a craft. There is no spaceships carved on these mountains around Phoenix, Arizona. Period. There's no crafts, man. It's talking about living beings, living entities. The archaeologist likes to call them anthropomorphs, man. They're morphing in the sky. They're changing shape. They're changing color. They're sparkling. They're absorbing that energy, dude. You see that light up there, right? You know what he's doing? He's absorbing that energy. Just as the fireflies today. The fireflies, man, that's part of them. They light up, right? These lightning bugs, these fireflies, they've got lights on them. Well, that's what these entities do. All right, that's part of them. They light up, man. It's not because of a spaceship has a headlight and he needs to see where he's going. That's crazy. A lot of people. Why do the spaceships have lights on them? Well, dude, it's because it's not a craft. They're absorbing the energy, dude. They're absorbing the energy from energy sources around the Earth, such as fault lines, volcanoes, and man-made energy such as nuclear facilities. That's it. I went into this thinking of Phoenix Lights, a craft went over Phoenix, Arizona. I spent 20 years. I'm still looking for the proof. Still looking for the evidence that some spaceship went over Phoenix. Man, I can't find anything. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I've talked to a lot of people. I've interviewed a lot of people. Right? And it comes to find out all these people that are saying all this stuff either really just didn't understand what the Phoenix Lights is or just out to make money from them. My books and my tours and all the stuff that I do, I don't make money from this, man. It's not about the money. It's about getting this information out to you. I discovered this. I found out what this was really at from 15 years of hiking that mountain, man, understanding the petroglyphs. All right? Understanding what the true history of Phoenix, Arizona is. Understanding what the holocom is. Understanding what all of these crazy things we're seeing in the skies is today. That's what made me go on a quest, on a hunt to find out what the hell was going on. I went into this thinking technology. I'm coming out going, oh my God, this is something completely different. If I can do this, so can you. You have to have an open mind to this, all right? And just what if? What if it's something different, all right? What if it's creatures? What if it's Anthropomorphs, as the archaeologist likes to call these petroglyphs out here. Flying serpents, man. Quetzalcoatl, dude. What's up with that? The feathered serpent. He's been flying over Phoenix. Oh my God. I filmed him so many times. He is here. He's alive. He is well. He's in the sky. He's on the mountains. That's it. Petroglyphs describe this. The petroglyphs talk about this. Let's get into them. This petroglyph here I found very interesting. This is not on South Mountain. I'm not sure where this is. But this was really, really cool. So those of you who have been following me, you know that these spirals that I talk about is energy sources. They're doorways. Okay, those of you who've missed my past shows, real quick. So the spirals, when they're clockwise, all right, it's a doorway in. All right, they're counterclockwise, it's a doorway out. All right. If the spiral ends down, then it's a hole or a crack in the stone, or it's the ground where the stone is at, where the spiral is carved at. If the spiral ends up, there's a doorway in the sky, a vortex, okay, from another dimension, if you will. These things pop in, much like what the Phoenix Lights did on the west side. Right, these Phoenix Lights, what they did is they popped in on the west side of Phoenix, Arizona, on the south side of South Mountain, formerly known as Mount Sepoa, Mountain of Mercy. All right, now these lights appeared over there because there's an energy spot there. This whole mountain is a fault line energy source. This is an intergalactic gas station for these Phoenix Lights, for these beings, for these living entities, these shape-shifting entities. They are absorbing these energy sources here in Phoenix, Arizona, and in your neck of the woods where you are seeing these UFOs at. So, the Native Americans say that it's a doorway to the underworld, okay? But and looking at it at a scientific way, they're actually going into the fault lines. They're going down into that energy source to absorb the energy. All right, this is not technology. Okay, these are living entities. These are, like some would say, supernatural. And I understand why the Native Americans call these things spirits. Okay, because when they come out of the sky, they're solid, they're full. All right, they're changing shapes, they're changing colors, they're solid. They're coming down towards the mountain, and all of a sudden, you can see through them. They're like a ghost. You can see through them. They're a spirit. And then they absorb themselves into the rock. You know what? A Native American was teaching me this, a shaman from the Pueblo Indian Art Museum in downtown Phoenix. I had him go up there and teach me the petroglyphs. This is, I'm not just making this up. I'm learning this from, forgive me, the horse's mouth, dude. This is what I was taught. This is what I was learned by a true Native American who understands the petroglyphs on South Mountain, who works for the city officials out there, all right, at the Pueblo Indian Art Museum, dude, for the holocoms, all right, for the museum, the Indian Museum, dude, right? So he's telling me that these cracks, these spirals are doorways, they're vortexes for the spirits. That's what we're dealing with here. That's what we're seeing. So we see these spirals. Look at this here. You see that crack right there? Look at that crack right there. See that? Look at the energy and stuff coming out of that crack. That is the doorway. Everything seems to be centered around that crack. Right there. That is the emergence point to the underworld. These things to the upper right, those little blocks, those things there, that is energy. That's an energy symbol. All right? And these spirals are doorways. That's a major doorway, dude. That is a major emergence point. Okay, and you can actually see all these, spirals and all these other things right there. I mean, dude, you got a deer to the left of it, and he's checking it out. And he knows it's an energy source. That is a major, major energy source. That is what these spirals is all representing here. Isn't that neat? That is so crazy. So, and then we have, some people would say, okay, that's a handshake, right? It's a handshake. Okay, actually, it's an energy symbol. So when you see those types of symbols, those types of Indian artwork, you see the spirals, it's doorways. You see those symbols, what looks like a handshake or a square type looking spiral that are connected together there, it's an energy. It's energy. Let's look at this one. Here we go. Here's a perfect example of a spiral. Look at this spiral here. You see how this spiral comes off and it ends in that hole right there? You see that? That is the doorway. That's what they're telling us, man. That is the doorway into the underworld. That is the doorway into the stone. You see that spiral there? So what's it doing? It's going counterclockwise. So it is a doorway out. So major these things come and go from this rock right here. This is what the Native Americans say. This is what these spirals represent. I was taught by a Native American who works down there at the Pueblo Indian Art Museum in Phoenix, Arizona, right? He plays a flute. He's a carpenter. He's a great guy, right? He was the one that taught me all these petroglyphs. You know, at first, you know, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so that's a doorway to the underworld, but my God, how is a spaceship going to get into that little crack, right? Right? That's what I was thinking, dude. How the hell can a technology spaceship craft get into a door like that, get into a crack like that? How can it just go into a rock? Until I saw it, until I witnessed it, until I filmed it. I think I was probably the only one here in the United States that actually filmed one of these beings coming in, going into the mountain and coming out on the other side. You can see that on my website, petroglyphsinthesky.net. Go to my sightings. Go to my UFO sightings page. Right on the bottom left, over here on the bottom left, you'll see entity going in and out of South Mountain. Check out that link, dude. You'll see this light, man. It comes down, it goes into the mountain, and then it comes out of the mountain in another spot. I've seen this so many times. I've witnessed this so many times. This is when I finally realized that, look, this is not spaceships, right? This is not technology. These are living creatures. Sure, spaceships and crafts and little gray guys might be running around. I get it. I have an open mind to that. I'm not saying those aren't real. I'm just saying I haven't seen any proof of it. I've seen a lot of CGI video and a lot of people, you know, look at this, you know, it doesn't look like a spaceship, but there's just no evidence. All right, I go with evidence. I go with what we can verify, what we can prove. All right, and what we can prove is what the petroglyphs are depicting on the mountains and what we're seeing in the skies for ourselves. All right, and what we're seeing in the skies are lights and orbs and flying serpents. Those of us who have seen this, who has, you know, really seen these things. All right, the majority of the public has seen orbs and lights. All right, but the real heavy sky watchers who have made kind of contact with these things, man, you're going to see serpents, dude. You're going to see flying crosses. You're going to see diamonds, all right? You're going to see some weird, crazy shit. You're going to see petroglyphs in the sky. Petroglyphs in the sky, because that is what we are seeing in the skies today. That is what's credible. That is what can be verified, all right? Sure, oh, my God, yeah, spaceship, little green guy going in there, dude. There's no evidence. I can't find any proof. A spaceship going over Phoenix, Arizona. I can't find any proof. If a handful of people can film lights on the far side of South Mountain, on the far side of Phoenix, Arizona, if like 4 people can film lights, then why couldn't the same damn 4 people film a craft going over Phoenix? This makes no sense. If something doesn't make sense and it cannot be verified, it's not credible. You can't go with that. I'm sorry. Until we have a shred of proof, video, photograph, something that we can verify a craft went over Phoenix, as far as I'm concerned, it's just hearsay. I'm sorry. But this is my 20 years of research going into Phoenix, Arizona. Born and raised. I was born here. I was raised here. I have been seeing these damn things since I was a kid. All right? I was playing football with my dad, watching orbs in the fucking sky, dude. I'm seeing these things since I was a kid. I was seeing lights. I was telling my friends at school, hey, did you see that light? And this little Indian boy, man, he was like, dude, my grandfather said that those lights live in the mountains over there. And he pointed at the west of Phoenix, Arizona to the White Tank Mountains. I've been to the White Tank Mountains. I've seen the spirals. I've seen the petroglyphs out there. And holy shit, yes, all the mountains around the Valley of the Sun, talk about these things that we see in the skies today. That's it. That is what's credible. That is what we can prove. I was the first one to go into this. I was the first one to bring this information to the UFO public, right, to the UFO community back in 2005 when I first discovered all this. Did an article for UFO Magazine. I did the pilot for the UFO Hunter Show and also Ancient Aliens TV series. I later on went on to do the UFO Hunter Show on the History Channel in 2007. I've done True TV. I've done all these other radio shows. I've written a book. All right, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've never once changed my story. Look at me. You can find me on the internet. Since day one, I have been saying entities, living beings, spirits, cherubim, fallen angels. Man, I'm sorry, dude. Don't look at the Bible as religion, but look at it as a history book. When you do that, it tells you what these things are. Kick religion out the door. Don't even bother with religion, dude, but look at these ancient scrolls for what they are talking about and put them in what relations we are seeing in the skies today. That is what is credible. Let's move on. Here's another one. Here is another one. Now look at this. Okay, so a lot of these entities that we see in the skies, and especially like a lot of these petroglyphs. So let's examine this petroglyph real quick. Okay, so here we have like two orbs. Okay, and they're connected together with this line. All right, now a lot of people would think, oh, that line is a string and it's a balloon, right? Why would the damn Indians be carving balloons over 1,000 years ago when there was no balloons? Okay, this makes no sense. All right, this is how these things are getting away of being in our skies today, because people see them in the sky, even though they're moving slow, they're in control, they're going in a straight line, they know what they're doing, they have this rod that comes down from the bottom of it. People say, oh, it's a balloon. That's a balloon. What if it's not, dude? What if that thing, people think it's a string, what if that thing is that little rod? I call them rods now, dude, because I've seen them, right? What if that has a purpose? And it does. That thing coming down from these orbs, all right, they sometimes connect together, and that's exactly what this petroglyph is showing. It's exactly what this petroglyph is showing. It's showing these two orbs and this line connected together, all right? And I believe that they're absorbing each other's energy. And they're also making like a type of barbell formation. All right? There's many barbells carved on South Mountain. And I believe that is what we're dealing with today. Now I want to talk about this glyph here, because this is important for this UFO sighting that we're about to see. Okay? So let's look at this. Now, for one, look at this rock that is carved on. You see that? It's like a type of, it looks like a type of limestone. Okay? A type of granite. All right? So these granite stones and boulders and things like that, over there to the right above it, it kind of looks like lava. Okay, so this mountain, this rock here was made by a volcano. All right, this mountain was created by these fault lines. All right, so it's only natural, it's only understanding on why we're finding petroglyphs on a mountain with a fault line on it, because these mountains with spirals and fault lines is sacred. They're sacred. They're holy mountains. I mean, I won't even go into that, dude. I won't even go into this other stuff because we don't have any time. But so let's look at this petroglyph here, okay? So a lot of people would look at this glyph and say, oh, that's a lizard man, okay? That's a lizard man, right? And some Native Americans would say, okay, this lizard man, he came up out of the sand world. Matter of fact, this is the legend. This is what the Hohokams story says. The Hohokams were the first people in Phoenix, Arizona, And Hohokam is a Pima name for the people who are gone, the people who are missing, the people who got taken away, because we do not know what happened to these people. They ruled here in Phoenix, Arizona for 1,000 years, and then all of a sudden, the next day, they simply vanished from history. Okay, now this isn't this story goes on for all the other tribes around the world that this happened to on the same exact situation at the exact same time. These tribes of natives, these tribes were here one day and then gone the next. Even when me and you move, we take our belongings with us. But yet these Hohokoms didn't. Right? They left everything behind and simply vanished. The archaeologist wants us to believe, well, they simply, migrated somewhere else, got too hot. Man, that's bullcrap. We can't find any evidence of where they went. Right? But the petroglyphs tells a different story. The oral tradition tells a different story. Okay, and we won't get into that tonight. You can find that in my book, and you can see that on some of my past shows. But it says that when the Hohokam first arrived here in the valley, that they didn't know how to live here. So these lizard people came up out of the sand world and down from the sky, and they taught these people how to survive and how to live. In return, the people of those days worshiped these things as gods because they didn't know any better, right? They just didn't know any better. They saw the lights in the sky. They saw how they were shape-shifting. They're shape-shifting. They're anthropomorphing into people, into the likeness of man, into serpents, into deers, into orbs and lights and animals and sheeps. Okay, they're morphing. They're taking shape. And a lot of them took the shape of humans. They like to take the shape of people. And that's when these lizard people come into play at. Do I really think that a lizard guy? No, there's no evidence. It's possible there's no evidence of lizard people. But the story says that these are lizard people. And they come up out of the sand world. Because he's got that tail. You see the tail there? All right? See that tail? That's not a tail. All right? That is one of them rods. That is one of them strings from a balloon, right? It's one of those rods that are coming out of this entity. Now let's look at that dot in the middle. This is important. See that dot? Now some would say that dot represents he's halfway into our world and halfway into the spirit world, right? But looking at this, examining the petroglyphs, seeing these things on a regular basis, understanding how they shape-shift, how they morph, how they change the shape, okay? I saw a light in the sky over South Mountain, and out from that light, this serpent came out of this light, okay? I filmed it. I documented it. You can see it on my website. It's called Quetzalcoatl, okay? So I believe that dot that we're seeing on this petroglyph here, right, is the orb, is the lights, is these orbs that we are all seeing in the skies today. And what is this orb doing? He's morphing. He's changing shape into the likeness of man. All right, and he's got his hands up. He's got his hands up as the worship pose. All right, he's got these legs and he's got that tail. But it's not a tail. That thing there that people mistake for balloons, all right, that line, all right, not only is it for connecting with another entity, for absorbing each other's energy, but it also picks up things and takes them up into the sky. Many petroglyphs I've discovered out there on South Mountain show this. It shows these diamonds, these phoenix lights, these entities, with this line coming down, picking up deers, picking up coyotes, picking up man, and taking them off into the sky. That's it. That's it. That's what these petroglyphs are showing. Look at my Facebook page, look at my website, petroglyphsinthesky.net. You will see a photograph of a petroglyph on South Mountain where this orb has this line and it's picking up a guy, dude. That's it. And this is what happened to the Hohokoms. the people who were gone, the people who were missing, the people who got taken away by the Phoenix Lights. Not a spaceship, not beam me up Scotty, dude. Scotty, beam me up. No, okay? Each light is an entity, okay? Each orb is an entity. Each diamond, each worm, each orb and crooked line and things like this is the being, is what the entity is. Just as man is higher than the animals, because we're a lot smarter than the animals. We can pick up cups, we can build engines, and we can do this and that. These things are higher than man, all right? Some would say they're supernatural, okay? But it's another race of animal, if you will, okay? It's like a type of animal, all right? And here's a secret. I've always said this, that this is their world too, all right? They're not from Alpha Centauri. They're not from Mars. They're not from Venus, okay? This is their world also. They have always been here. They have been here before us. They were sent here before man. All right? And when man discovered these beings, man treated them as gods. And it out forth came to them their downfall. Man worshiped these things as gods. Man got taken away by these things because they were misled. And a lot of people think, these UFOs are here to help us. No, man, it's something else. It's something completely different. Look at the history of these things. This is why the government and the people and officials, they're not going to tell you. They will never disclose what's really here. They might admit, yeah, there's something here, but are they going to really tell you what's here? Are they going to tell you, hey, guys, these lights and these flying serpents and these diamonds, that took the Hohokam people away are back. And they're out there on South Mountain and they're coming around the Valley of the Sun. All right? How many people, if the government actually really came out and said, look, this is what happened. This is what happened to the Hohokams. They were taken away by the lights. How many people would stay in that valley? How many people would run and hide and get the hell out of Dodge just as the survivors did when they saw these things? Because yes, there were survivors to this Holocaust when these Hohokam people got taken away. I mean, how do you think we still got the stories here? It's been told from generation upon generation upon generation upon generation by the first people who survived. They saw the lights coming down. They saw these people being taken up into the sky, and they were afraid. They hid in the caves. When it was all over, they knew it was wrong to stop the sacrifice, because that's what started it all, was them stopping the sacrifice. The blood of man pouring down the rocks was stopped, and that's what pissed off these entities in the sky, and that's what led to their downfall. The people hid in the caves. They saw what was going on. They buried gold, and that's exactly what's up there on South Mountain. I found so many tombs out there on South Mountain. And the first park ranger, Charles Holbrook from the 1930s, who the Indians told him the tombs and the Hohokams and what was all, when the spirits of the earth and sky, all right? They told him all this stuff. I found all this information in the Phoenix Library. I verified it out there on the mountains. I discovered the tombs. I discovered the altars. And I also verified it in the Phoenix Public Library, okay, in a folder that has been tucked away. It's been tucked away from you and me for the last 80 years. When Holbrook died, so did everything else. Everything else died with him. Because Holbrook told people about these things, dude. He told people about the altars. He told people about the tombs, all right? When he died, all this information, boom, gone, but it's still there. The evidence is here. And now I'm here to resurrect this story. I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said before. Okay? I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said before. I verified it. This is all proof. Not hearsay. This is all fact. I proved this. All right? I've been on the mountains for 17 years. My knees are dead because of it. Me crawling around from top to bottom of that mountain. I can't even fucking walk now because of that damn mountain. I've been there. I discovered it, okay? I verified it, man. I wrote a book. I found the shit in the Phoenix Library, man. This is what the Phoenix Lights is, okay? And when they saw what was going on, they buried the gold. They got the hell out of Phoenix, Arizona. They got the hell out of Dodge, okay? And they vowed never to come back in this valley. They cursed the Valley of the Sun. They knew if they were going to continue to live in this desert, to continue to live in this valley, that they would have to eventually go back to war of the spirits of the earth and sky, the Phoenix Lights to us. And they were afraid. And they scouted, they got out of there, dude. And for 400 years, nobody lived in this valley. There were Indians on the outskirts of this valley, and they saw the lights, and they saw the serpents, and they saw these orbs, right? And they were afraid. Because they knew what had happened to their ancestors. They knew what had happened last time that mankind dealt with these Phoenix Lights. This is the truth. This is what's really going on here. This is all documented. This is all, proven. All right? These tombs out here are full of gold. And it says that the Mayans were here in Phoenix, obviously. All right? It was whole common of Mayans and tribes from all over the different places used to gather at this holy mountain, Mount Sapoa, Mountain of Mercy, now known as South Mountain to us today. All right, and they gathered here at this mountain, and they watched these spirits of the earth and sky. They watched the lights. They watched the Phoenix Lights. They worship these things as gods. So look and remember this. Remember that orb in the belly. Okay. Let's move on. Okay, so this UFO I filmed last week. Okay? Now, look at the petroglyph. Look at this petroglyph here. This orb that we are seeing in the skies today is what this petroglyph is representing. This orb is morphing. It's changing shape into this creature, into this petroglyph. See that? This is what these petroglyphs are talking about. This orb. This orb that we all see in the skies today. This is just the first step. Okay? There are many steps to this. Many, many, many steps. This is just the first stage. This is just the first stage on what's to come. Now imagine this orb just morphing, anthropomorphing, changing shape, growing arms and legs, okay, and turn it into a petroglyph. See that? This is what we're dealing with. This came over my apartment last week. Look at this thing. Look at that. See that? That's not a balloon. That's not anything man-made. That is what this petroglyph is representing. This is what we're seeing in the skies. Is this orb, this belly. This orb is morphing. He is going to morph into one of these petroglyphs. Okay? Petroglyphs in the sky. This is what we're dealing with here. Not spaceships in the sky. Not crafts in the sky. Petroglyphs, dude. Testimony. History. This is our history. This is where we came from. This is what it's all about. These things are here. They're alive. They know who's watching. They know who's not watching. This is how they're getting away with being in our skies. They don't make any noise. They don't make any shadows. All right. You have to pay attention. You have to keep looking up and have your camera ready. Not a cell phone, but a video camera. All right. Because cell phones just don't zoom in and you just can't get the good quality. All right. You need a video camera. All right. If you're going to start filming these things, get yourself a video camera. Look at that thing. See that? Look how it's moving. See, I use that little, that railing there from the upstairs apartment, the stairs, as a guidance to show you how it's moving. See how it's moving in a straight line? See that? It's in control. It knows what it's doing. It's on a mission. Actually, it's going to the mountains over here on the east side. It's heading right for those mountains over there. I'm not sure what these mountains are called over there right at this moment, but that's where it's heading. And that's where a lot of these things, I see a lot of them over here on the east side of my apartment complex, which is typical, which is to be expected, because East has always been holy and sacred to the natives and to other tribes around the world. You know, the east side. You see that thing? That thing eventually, the next stage, I don't know if we're going to see it in our generation. Well, actually, we kind of are. I mean, we are seeing these things. I mean, when you're by the source, you know, when you're at the source, at the mountain, you know, you will see more detail of these things, okay? These things are like serpents. They're like creatures, okay? All right, so when they're going across the sky, they probably morph into these orbs, dude. All right, but when they get closer to their source, to their energy spot, all right, they probably change, they morph, you know, just like what I filmed in over South Mountain, this light, and then out from this light came this snake, this flying serpent, Quetzalcoatl. And then he changed into a stick figure man, petroglyph, with his hand on his waist and a head and two horns coming out of his head. Look it up, dude. Check it out. It's on my website, petroglyphsinthesky.net. This is what we're dealing with. These orbs change. They morph. They change shape. They anthropomorph, as the archaeologist wants to call it, into the likeness of men, animals, snakes. Here's another one that I filmed today. This is what I filmed today. This thing is actually shape-shifting. I filmed many of these shapeshifters before. Those of you who have been following me on my page, on my Facebook page, know, you know, I've been filming these shapeshifters a lot. And because that's what's here. That's what's really going on here. All right? They're shape-shifting into, you know, triangles and dots and squares and snakes and diamonds and things like that, man. This was filmed today. See that? Is that crazy? This is what we're dealing with, folks. Is shape-shifting living entities, living beings, living entities, okay? And until we can find proof of technology, then this is, you know, this right here holds their credibility. Because why? Because the Native Americans carved these things. All right, they saw these things. All right, they're living testimonies. You know, they didn't have stone. They didn't have video cameras. They had stone boulders. right? And they recorded their sightings on places around the world and where these sightings took place at. Okay, so make sure that you like and subscribe to me. Petroglyphs in the Sky, my Facebook page, Jeff Woolwine. Find me on YouTube, the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky, and subscribe and follow me. And if you have any questions, if you want to send me your photographs or your videos, I really like videos. Photographs, not too much. I really want to see videos. Of your UFO sightings. Please send them to me. If I like it, we'll air it on the show. Send me some petroglyphs, and we'll talk about petroglyphs and things like that. So like and subscribe, and thank you guys, everyone, for watching. Okay, so let's take a short break, and we'll get into this creature, serpent-looking weird thing, dude, over Mexico. Gotta see it. Check it out.
You are watching the Petroglyphsinthesky Ultimate UFO Show. Follow Jeff Lowine as he explores Native American rock art that shows UFOs has visited Earth long ago. Check out the Petroglyphsinthesky Ultimate UFO Show. Tell your friends.
You know about the Phoenix Lights. We're going to be talking a little bit about them, the latest theory as we celebrate the anniversary. Even though we've seen things that may prove it otherwise than a UFO. Stay with us.
March 13th, 1997. You guys all remember these lights here? It was 14 years ago tonight that phones and newsrooms and 911 call centers were ringing off the hook. The reason? Suspicious lights hovering over the Arizona sky. They came to be known as the Phoenix Lights, and over the years there have been many theories as to what the lights were. But to this day, the identity of the Phoenix Lights remain a mystery. The experience, some say, was just one of many major UFO sightings, and they say we've been visited for centuries. What proof? Well, one local UFO expert says you just have to look at the mountains.
Oh, well, I've been seeing UFOs for about 15, 16 years now.
It's become a lifelong passion for Phoenix resident Jeff Woolwine.
I do a lot of hiking, a lot of research. I've dedicated 5 years of my life into this type of research. We'll be heading right up there. You can see some petroglyphs with some spirals there. And when we get closer, you'll be able to interpretate, the meaning of it.
Woolwine was one of many residents to see the Phoenix Lights 14 years ago. But it didn't stop there. He's documented years of sightings on his website, going beyond just the traditional lights in the sky research.
Doing my investigations, I'm coming to find out that the petroglyphs here in the Valley of the Sun are talking about what we're seeing in the sky today as far as UFOs and strange things in the sky.
Woolwine says he's found it's been happening for centuries.
You see, they didn't have video cameras back then. They had stone boulders to record their sightings on what they saw back in their time.
And the evidence is written all over our Arizona mountains.
Here on what we call A Mountain, we find this petroglyph here. And it seems to represent a family. And they clearly have their hands up in the air as to say they're in the appeasement pose and they're looking up at two orbs in the sky. This mountain is very active for UFO sightings. Most of the time when I come out here, we do see some orbs up in the sky.
Woolwine says the best time to see the orbs is early in the morning or late afternoon.
The more you see it, the more you're intrigued. You want to see more of them. And I really think that it's only a matter of time when everybody will know that, yes, there is something here. Yes, we are being visited. And we just have to ask ourselves, okay, we're not the only advanced civilizations in the universe. What happens next?
Man, is that crazy? Is that crazy or what? That was some crazy stuff. Okay, so make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Petroglyphs in the Sky, Jeff Woolwine. And I appreciate all you guys watching and sharing. And, if it wasn't for you, you guys keeping the show rolling, so I just want to say, thank you guys so much for sharing and liking the show. And contact me, with your UFO videos and your petroglyphs, and let's talk about it. Okay, so let's talk about this crazy thing that was filmed over Mexico. Are you guys ready for this? Dun, da, dun, da, da, da. Look at this crazy thing that has been, we're eventually, We just saw a little bit of it. It should be coming back here. Let's look at the photographs as we're waiting for the video. Look at this thing here. Okay? This is not a spaceship. This thing is alive. Okay? This is what we are dealing with. Okay? Look at this thing. Look how it's morphing. Look how it's moving. Okay? It's not a balloon. It's not, out of control. Okay? It's in control and it's changing shape. It's morphing. All right? Look at that thing. This is not a balloon. It is not acting like a balloon. It's changing shape. Matter of fact, it was just separated. That last video, that last scene. Okay, and here's the beginning of it. Look at this thing. Look at this crazy thing that's in our skies. This isn't just happening in Mexico. This is happening here in the United States too. I was the first one to bring this to the public in 2005. Look, these are not spaceships, man. These things are alive. It's not a living spaceship. Okay, it's a living creature. Okay, these things are alive. They're morphing. They're changing shape. They're in control. This is not a spaceship. This is not a craft. This is a living creature. These things are in our skies. This is what we are dealing with. Living beings. Look at that. Look at these things, man. Look at this thing. Okay? This is not some spaceship here. All right? It clearly is on a mission. It clearly knows what it's doing. And it knows it's being filmed. Okay? It knows who's watching. It doesn't cast any shadows. All right? It doesn't make any noise. It's there. It's in our skies. They follow the seasons. This is a secret. They follow the seasons. They follow the equinox and the solstice. Look at that. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. It changes shape. Look at that. See that? See how it changes shape? Look, you can actually see it moving. You can see it changing. You can see it. Look at that. Look. Is that crazy or what? That is neat. That is neat stuff, man. It's just so crazy. Look at that thing, dude. Is that something? Look what it's doing. And the lights isn't, like lights that you and I would think of. Okay, it's energy. Though that's energy. It's absorbing the energy. Okay? So it's lighting up, much like, like I said before, like a firefly or a lightning bug, things like that. Okay. They light up, man. It's not because they need headlights to see where they're going in space. No. It is the energy. It is the energy that is making them glow. like this. Okay? That is what we're dealing with, folks. That is what's credible. That is what we can prove. This is what people are filming legitly, not computer generated, all right? But real stuff that's here, all right? And we need to start paying attention, right? You see something in the sky, all right, that doesn't look normal to you, it's probably one of these things. Get your camera out, film it, tell somebody, be aware that these things are going on because they're here, dude. They've always been here, right? But more and more is coming. More and more is coming, and we better be ready. And we better understand what the hell these things are. Okay? We have to learn from history. We have to understand what these things did last time they made contact with people. They disappeared. The people disappeared. They're gone. They're gone from history. Nobody knows to this day. It's been over 1,000 years. We still can't find any evidence where they went. But yet we find evidence on the rocks. We find evidence in the skies. We have all these bits and clues that has been left for us to understand. Right? It's up to you and me to find out what's going on. Don't expect somebody else to come and tell you. All right? You have to go investigate it for yourself. This is what I did. Like I said before, I went into this thinking one thing. I'm coming out saying this is I did a complete 180. This is something else. This is something different that's here. Examine the history. Examine what's here. When you do, you will understand what is going on in our crazy world and what is to come. That is our show for tonight, folks. Thank you so much. And let's make sure you like and you subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time, okay? Petroglyphs in the sky. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Until the next exciting episode, Keep your eyes in the skies, you never know what you might see.